In this review of the Neewer PS099F, I'll be comparing this V-mount battery for battery life versus the Sony A7C II with the Sony battery. And spoiler alert, the battery lasted longer than I expected, so there's that. This is an upgrade over the E version with 100 watts power delivery versus 65 watts. This also is better value than this small rig version, and that's one of the reasons I chose to accept this for review. Yes, I was sent this for review, but I'm still going to go over everything, including the limitations of these ports. Now to quickly go over what's included with this V-mount battery is a D-tap cable, fairly short as we see. That is what, 6 inches or so? As well as a user manual. Now this particular V-mount battery has 6 different protections.
This is what can happen without protections.
Overheat protection, shock protection, over voltage protection, short circuit protection, overcharge protection, as well as over current protection. Now let's get to the ports and specifications. Starting at the top of this V-mount battery, we have a flap here for weatherproofing, 8-volt port that is rated for 3 amps, 24 watts, as well as 36 watts on the 12-volt port. And on the side here, we see a USB Type-C and a Type-A. The Type-C, of course, is a smaller port, and it's rated up to 100 watts power delivery in and out. When connected to USB Type-A, at 5 volts, we're limited to 17 watts, or at 9 or 12 volts, we're limited to 18 watts, respectively. When using both USB ports at the same time, we are limited to 5 volts. If I'm limited to 5 volts, what does that do? I still get my 100 watts power delivery, don't I? No, you don't. 20 volts output, 5 amps. Power delivery uses a different voltage. So now you know. There is a D-tap port, and that D-tap port for charging is 16.8 volts input, or for output, 14.54 volts output at 6.8 amps. And the BP on the back end here is exactly the same specifications. And when powering on, here's the screen we're presented with. Press the button again, and then we'll see this other screen. Press it again, we should go back to the other one. Now that we went over the basics, let's power our camera with a dummy battery as well as using the USB Type-C to power the battery within the camera as well. 20% power loss when you're powering a battery with a battery, so I will be using a dummy battery. Yes, a dummy battery. On my Sony A7C, I have a very basic V-mount plate. On the top or side, I can choose to use either that barrel port for powering my camera, the 8-volt. With a dummy battery, yes, I'll do that, no problem at all. I can also power my camera with USB, so if I choose to, I can do power delivery from the USB here to my camera. USB-C power delivery on my Sony. That will allow me to use the battery inside the camera as a backup battery. Now, another thing I can do is I can use this battery and charge it at the same time I'm powering this camera. And here's my dummy battery with decoding built in. It means I won't get any sort of warning about this when connected to my camera. It'll show 100% at all times, so I depend on the V-mount display to know my battery level. So note that one. I can actually charge the battery at the same time using a battery bank to charge that. Now let's get to that battery life testing. Sony A7C II shows off with an impressive record time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 37 seconds.
You and me dancing with our shadows through the streets. Stars are blinking to the rhythm of our heartbeats. Greatest show I've ever seen. Starring you and me. Feeling so alive, you just made me realize the meaning of love when you look me in the eyes. Never thought that I would be where I always wanted to be. 'Cause I can't see myself without you. Myself without you. No, I can't be myself without you. Who am I without you? Easy when the city is laying fast asleep. Dreaming of tomorrow as you're laying with me. Greatest plans we ever made. I'm so glad you stayed. Never thought that I could be happier than now. You're the color in my life, the bells are ringing out. Every time I hear you speak, you make me believe that I can't see myself without you. Myself without you. No, I can't be myself without you. Who am I without you? That I can't see myself without you. Myself without you. No, I can't be myself without you. Who am I without you?
The newer Vmount battery shows off with 10 hours, 9 minutes of actual record time. That battery life difference didn't make sense from 2280 milliamp hour to 6800 milliamp hour. I need someone in comments that knows more than me about Vmount batteries, because I don't know everything. I don't know how the rating didn't match 1-to-1. Why the difference? List in comments below so we'll all know, including myself. I don't claim to know everything, and I don't know everything. Using the newer included D-tap cable, let's test this out. Okay, so I got this side, and let's do this side now to the... Okay, I get out to grab a different cable. Now the D-tap's connected. Power button, does it turn off? The D-tap for power? No, the D-tap stays on and everything else turns off. What are my unbiased, unfiltered thoughts on the newer PS099F? Well, the screen here is kind of shiny. Some people might not like that. It's nicer to have a matte finish. So that's one thing I would recommend it to newer is change this to matte finish because it's less glaring and easier to read, of course, in the sun if the sun were shining on this. Question is, would I recommend this V-mount battery? So far from what I've seen, yes, the battery life was superb and it worked great. I had no issues with it. It's just some oddities in the design, but great value. Worked, no problem at all, no issues. Do you want to see a roundup of the different V-mount batteries to see what the battery life is like? And if I do so, I'm not going to compare to the camera because I want to involve other devices. After this many hours for one V-mount battery, this is a bit ridiculous for battery life directly to camera without testing other devices. So note that one. This is Eric of Sparky Studio. Thanks for watching and have yourselves a most wonderful day. Time for your V-mount battery afterthought. When it comes to V-mount batteries, have I had any major issues that I can note? Yes, it's not the battery I reviewed here. It's not the Shape battery. It's not this small rig battery. No, the problem was this battery that's discontinued. It is the newer PS212E. Now this battery, look at the release date, shows to be, I believe, September 2025 or August 2025, and it discontinued. I purchased it in December, so it got discontinued less than a year. So then it must be a known problem. So if I turn off my camera and I let it sit for about a minute and I power back on, it won't power on. I have to disconnect the barrel port and then after about 5 seconds, reconnect it and then it'll work again. I'm powering my camera right now with that very V-mount battery, but that is something I've noticed and it's discontinued.